Hello, people, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Who's That Anime with me, Colin, and co-host Steve.
Hello.
This week we'll be talking about the second part of the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya. Um, uh, Last week we left off with the cliffhanger of Haruhi Suzumiya is still in the world, and
Yep.
Kyon now knows where he is. She is even where she
It
is.
it's yeah, it's all of a sudden um it has become a possibility that maybe the world isn't as different as he thought. So,
Not full on different, no.
no.
Yeah.
So, essentially now he's left school.
Hmm.
He's just jumping straight to the other school. He gets there.
Yeah.
He's so eager to get there. He gets there actually an hour before they let out for the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Skyven took us Sky for half a day to go to this school as he
Yeah,
runs along the streets to almost fasten the train, but not quite. The train overtakes him.
that is true.
Yeah.
He does. He does race a train.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's waiting about for an hour and goes, "Oh, I can just brashly go in, but I'm not Haruri. Haruri. That's hard thing. I'm more cautious." So he waits
Yep,
and waits like a creepy stalker.
he does. He does. And of course, he starts to see all the kids leaving school. He's like, I have a 50-50 chance of seeing her here because I don't know where he gets 50-50 from, but I think what he means is she's either here or she's at an after school club. So I guess it is kind of 50-50 dependent on her decision.
Yeah.
But he's scoping out the crowd, and all of a sudden, he sees her.
Hmm.
And not only does he see her, but he sees Koizumi, who's talking with her.
Yeah. As she has a big skull on her face of like, I'm going to destroy the world type thing.
She does not look happy.
It does remark on that how he remembers her the first time you met.
It's the same face.
Yeah.
It's the same face.
And he starts to make
Um,
these judgments through it all type thing. Yeah. And then he kind of a bit shy at this point. He doesn't want to jump out and go, hurry! Like he does with the what's her name?
with Mikuru.
Yeah, Mikuru. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want to do that.
Well, one he knows that Hurry would just like beat him up. She's not as timid, I would say.
No, but yeah, you can see the internal struggle because he spent these 2 days deeply worried that he'll never be able to get his life back to the way it was before. Um, to the point where he he wants to yell and he wants to run over but can't. He's really struggling to get moving,
Mhm.
and I don't know if that's supposed to symbolize just like a sort of a combination of fear and excitement, or if it's reluctance to, like, it's like I don't want to give myself more hope. I don't want to give myself false hope, sort of thing. Like maybe if I just don't do this, then you know I can't fail if I don't try, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Um,
but he
but I'm
does
not
it.
sure.
He breaks through that
He does.
and speaks to him. And she's like, "Who the hell are you, stalker boy?"
Yeah,
Pretty much. Get
she's
lost.
forward,
Yeah, yeah. Um,
but
and
as
then
with the others, he surprises them with knowing who they are.
to a degree, yeah. I think does that, and then it's like, all right, and then she walks away anyway,
She does, yeah.
and then he's like, I know you what you did 3 years ago, and she's like, yeah, so what? And he's like, but I also know you weren't alone. There was a guy there with a girl.
Yeah. With an unconscious Mikuru, I mean a girl.
Yeah, yeah. And then she not like to attack him or something at that point.
She does, yeah. She kicks him in the legs
Yeah,
and takes him to the ground.
yep. And
And
then
there's a policeman at this point who's like, kind of like, hey, whoa, 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 hey. And he's doing a really shit job because, you know, he'd been trying to stop it and hadn't. And then eventually he's like, oh, somebody should get a teacher. And it's like, aren't you a police officer?
I think he's the security guard that you saw at the door.
Oh, okay.
The
Just,
school has a
just
security.
wondering. It was like, oh, somebody better get a teacher. What to do your job for you?
Yeah, because there was a
Incredible.
yeah there was a like a guard or something like a guard post and a barrier in front of the
Yeah,
school.
you're right. It probably is that.
Um.
Probably is that.
Anyway, so I have a conversation and he goes, "So who the hell are you?" type thing, and he goes, "I'm John Smith," and she's like,
That's
"What?"
yeah, because he's on his knees at this point.
Yeah,
And did she not headbutt him?
possibly.
Like, because I for some reason I have it in my head that like he's in literal agony, and I thought he was just being a prick at that point. And she's like, "Who are you anyway?" He's like, "I'm John Smith," and it was like, "Oh no, wait, that name has relevance. That's not a throwaway thing."
Yeah,
Um, that was the name he used that night where she had him carve out those symbols on the baseball field
yeah,
at the
yeah,
school.
yeah. Got him to do all the work. As a, as an 11-year-old kid or something. Anyway,
Yeah,
I think at that point she goes, "All right, what?" Um, and they go away to a cafe at that point, if I
yep,
remember. And Koizumi is like, "Oh, so wait, what? There's an alien, a time traveler, and I'm an Esper, and Harry is like the all-omniscient god type being. What a story!"
yeah,
So,
yeah. He's very he's very he's speaking down to him quite a lot.
yeah. Uh, and then he comes up with like some brain scheme idea of what potentially could have happened to him. Maybe he's telling the truth, like maybe he's jumped timelines, or maybe the timeline got erased and he's the only one remembering for whatever reason. And then they discuss more about this realization, and then he also then talks, say, oh yeah, maybe it was like people from another dimension came in and like moved things around just for the hell of it. This one, oh,
Yeah,
whereas Curie is like all ears and really excited about it because it's like her life dream.
yeah. Like it sounds, she gets immediately excited at the idea that there is a life better than the one she has right now, or more interesting than the one she has right now. Um, and then kind of is like, well, we better get going. Um, it's like, wait, to do what? He's like, oh, we have people to find.
Yeah, we're off to your school. She
Yeah,
got to say when he was on the knees and he said John Smith and she eyed him up and was like, oh yeah, you're from North School or whatever the school's called in
yeah, North High.
North Eye, and he was wearing the same uniform, sort of.
Yep.
Well, not really, 'cause that was the middle of summer, and it's now the middle of winter, where it's freezing,
Yeah.
where it's Baltic. Um. Anyway, so they head to the his school, and they're like, "Oh shit,
Well,
how are we going to
wait,
get in?"
you missed a small bit. Sorry,
All right.
because there's the bit where, uh, for once, when she leaves, Koizumi is like, "I will pay for Haruhi and my part of lunch." And he gets to the conversation about what his place with like
Oh
what's the
yeah.
deal with him and Haruhi. And Koizumi is very upfront in that he's in love with her.
Mhm.
Um, and then it kind of takes a very sort of again like we get to this sort of somber tone where he's like, but I think she's growing quite bored of me,
Yeah.
and she doesn't feel the same. It's like that's incredibly sad. And yet here you are paying for her lunch and doing everything for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a kind of a sad aside. Also, his voice actor, uh, Koizumi's voice actor, which I did not know this at the time,
Mhm.
Vash the Stampede.
Oh,
I
he's
think
what? Was he?
maybe. Hang on, might be getting them confused.
I thought you
Nope, he
were.
was totally Vash the Stampede.
He was Flash Stampede.
Yep, and
Where
also he was a Power Ranger.
he was a Power Ranger.
Yep,
God, not the Power Rangers again. We had this big conversation.
I know. We talked about Power Rangers for ages, and I've started listening to a podcast about Power Rangers now, and now I'm more interested in Power Rangers than I was even before. But yeah, but like, yeah, his name is Johnny Young Bosch, and he was, I believe, Adam in Power Rangers.
Original.
Yes, he was in seasons 2 and 3 as the Red Ranger.
Oh, to switch out the Red Ranger.
I believe so. Yeah.
All right. Our guy
Uh,
didn't think he was going anywhere.
uh, oh, maybe I'm getting confused. Hang on. Sorry, he was the second Black Ranger, not the Red Ranger. My apologies.
All right.
It
Okay.
was Rocky DeSantos who was the second Red Ranger.
Okay. There you go. There's
Not a
the
Power Rangers podcast. So yeah, there's your trivia for you.
Power Ranger trivia about Haruhi
And
Suzumiya.
also Trigun trivia.
Yeah. Vash the Stampede, the English voice actor.
Yep. I love Trigun.
Yeah, I watched it when it was in Japanese, though. And it just sounded really
I
weird.
like I like the dub. I like the dub. It's
Love
well done.
and peace. Love and
Also, the
peace.
last episode or two, they don't sound as impactful in English.
The last two
It's
episodes.
not. Yeah, like because you start to uncover, what his deal is. Just
Yeah.
sounds a bit lame in English
Oh, I suppose. Oh.
because he's a plant.
Yeah, but that wasn't the last two episodes. That was like covered like episode 8 or something, I think. When they first
I
learn
always
about
thought it was like
knives.
the last couple of episodes.
No, I swear is he does this thing and he's all like, I got to go and stop knives. And then he meets up with knives again. Oh, that's the backstory, isn't it? That's why he wipes out the town.
Yeah.
But he's not like hmm, there's like episodes where he has a lot of backstory. Like he goes to a plant, which is still working its fell from one of the spaceships, and has like one of his brother or sisters in it beforehand. And there's a lot of backstory of him and Rem beforehand. He was in love with Rem, and Knives was jealous of that. I mean, who called the fucking kid Knives anyway? What the hell? Vash, I can guess Vash, but Knives?
have, have you ever seen the video? Sorry, we're getting very off topic here, but this really does make me laugh. There's this really short video I've seen online where it's like a kid running around a table at a party,
Huh?
and his mum says to him like, "Oh, what do you have there?" And he goes, "A knife." And she goes, "Just he's he's legit just running around with a knife." Her reaction's amazing. She's like just asking, "Oh, what you got there?" It's like, "Oh, knife." Oh God,
Yeah.
I have to save my child and the other children. No, please
Yeah.
excuse me.
Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, maybe we should do a Trigun at some point. I don't know. I'll have
Uh,
Trigun.
it's on Netflix.
I own the DVDs.
I do not. It's on
Some
Netflix.
weird Russian bootleg shit that I bought off Amazon 20
Oh.
plus years ago.
Oh, and yeah, I think I bought them from maybe my mate. It was like all the
Yeah.
episodes on like 4 discs or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the one. I've got
Yeah,
that, and I've got Helsing, and I've got Escaflowne, and I've got Serial Experiments Lane, all in the same style.
yeah, they were so much cheaper than buying them.
Oh, they really were. It was great.
And there
No
was,
tax.
yeah, the taxman's coming for you, man. Anyway, where were we at? Cafe,
So
Keon.
yep, cafe. They've just left. She's like running ahead to get a cab. He's like, come on, fucking hurry up.
Yeah,
Got shit to do.
that cab will get over, and then they get over, and the school's closed, and it's like, oh no, the school's closed. And then they borrow some gym outfits and pretend that we're out for a run.
They use his gym outfit.
Ah,
Uh, and she's like, I hope these are washed. And he's like, they were a week ago. And she's like wearing like these massive trousers and a t-shirt, and it's not cold in the slightest. And Koizumi there in like a shorts and t-shirt, and he's freezing. And he's like, "Would it be okay, please, if I was to maybe wear the jumper?" And she's like, "No, I need the jumper to cover our bags."
yeah, because that's the thing. I
Because
don't
what?
know.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem like a thing for, and kids would just come from different schools in our country and just walk in without a
yeah,
hat, care in the world,
yeah.
and then
So she just like they do the pretend running shit
yeah,
and just run into the school.
it's got the ponytail bit. Got
Oh
Keon,
yeah, shit, that's right.
can you put your hair in a ponytail? And she was like, why? Just because it'll make you look like you're
Yeah,
running or something. So okay, that's a good idea. And
yeah.
then he comes away with some smooth line.
Uh, I can, is it weird that I can remember? I think almost exactly the percentage that he says she looks of the thing, but not the thing. I think he says like you look about 38% more
Cute,
successful or something like that.
pretty.
It's something like that.
Yeah, I can't
She tells
remember.
him to shut up.
But she blushes a bit.
She does. She does.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow. She has a human reaction. I
For a
don't think
human, she doesn't have many of those.
she doesn't seem to react like that at all. Like she's very brash and open and doesn't really care how who sees her in the way. She's changing in that.
Yeah.
Almost the thing that happened when she changed into the things. Oh, I've got a t-shirt on her under this. That's
Yeah. That's right.
yeah. But anyway, so then they run into the school, and Guillaume goes, "Oh shit! I totally said I'd meet Yuki at the club. And I totally forgot. I hope she's still there," type thing. Uh, and then they
Yeah.
change their plan and go, "Oh, we're going to find the other people first."
Yeah. We're gonna go and find Mikuru first.
Yeah,
Uh, she like comes to the door and it's like, this is it. Was it to the calligraphy club?
yeah,
And they run along there, gets to the door, and she's like, "Is there a Miss Mikuru Arasahina here?" She's like, yeah, it's that I'm from internal affairs or something. Uh, you're gonna have to come with me right now." It's like, but I haven't done anything.
yeah. I think there's a student body, but it's the same thing.
Student body internal affairs.
Yeah, you have to come with us. And he's like, I told her not to be so brash because she kicks the door down
She
if you're
properly
well.
like kicks the door in, yeah. Kicks the door in and just immediately yells for the person. It's like, yep, nondescript.
Yeah,
Nailed it.
come with us. And then they go back to the club room to meet Yuki, and
Yep.
then they're all in the room, and then Harry locks the door behind Mikuru.
That's right. And she starts to have a bit of a panic. Like, why are you locking the door?
Yeah, stop people coming in. uh,
Yeah.
and then they kind of all gather and discuss who they are and stuff, and then think what's happening. How's this going to progress?
Yeah.
And Yuki's standing next to the computer at the time. And it suddenly flashes on. to a
So I
console.
think that's the thing is that yeah, like it wasn't on and now it's on all of a sudden, and the thing that it struck Kyon because I think to Kyon's mind she was going to help him get back home,
Mm.
but that's not her focus. Her focus is now the realization that she can do more in this world and that she wants her own SOS brigade. Whether it needs to be called that or whether it needs to be where it is now or was before is not important. But that's he's like, sounds an awful lot like you're just trying to, recreate the SOS brigade here. And she's like, yep, sure am.
Yeah,
Uh, kind
and
of not really all that fussed about the other thing we were doing.
yeah, she did moan about that the club room's too far away from her. It's like, oh, this is no
Yep,
good at all because it's miles away from where I am.
yep.
Yeah.
And you're right. Yeah, the computer switches itself on, and like this is another one of these sort of like genuine moments of connection with a character. I think like where you see N Yuki the
Mm.
username show up on the screen, and he kind of breaks into tears at the idea that like oh she's connecting, like she's able to talk to me, and this is like there might be a way out of this still, and like it's sort of a nice thought of like his his being so pleased to hear from someone from where he was before. Like
Mm.
it just is quite a nice scene. Um, and of course, then the text happens. The screeds of text about how you have the 5 keys now, which is basically all of you.
Mm.
Um, and now you have an opportunity. And you only have one chance. Uh, and it's the idea of we can change this, we can fix this to go back to the way things were,
Mm.
or not.
Mhm.
And the decision is up to you.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's a real, and I don't want to like drag you down a long route here, but there's like a real, there's a very heavy emotional toll in this choice that is not even fully realized yet,
Uh-huh.
because to us, and I'm sort of foreshadowing a little bit here, this is Kyon's choice to make. It is his choice to make, but the important thing is not that it's his choice to make. It's that it's someone's choice to offer, and I think that's the key to this. Like, this scene is beautiful. Like the sort of the Kyon sitting in the spotlight on the school desk with the note, the bookmark in one spotlight,
Mm-hmm.
to signify the ability to go back to the way things were, and in the other spotlight, the literature club uh, joining form
Oh yeah. Yeah.
that Yuki gave him, to signify the ability to stay where things are now.
Yeah.
And that sort of internal struggle, uh, I personally, uh, I I appreciate the choice they made. I understand, like, because obviously, we want to go back to normal,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the decision he makes after all that. And there's the kind of internal fight with himself.
Uh-huh.
Is that at this point, or is that further
Mm.
on? I'm
Oh,
trying to
that's further
remember.
on. That's further on when
That's further on.
he's got the
This is the justification. That's the justification
that's yeah,
for his choice.
yeah. Because he's got the
But
choice at this moment.
because all
He,
he needs to do is hit enter, right,
I
to
think
start the sequence.
yeah, I think it just says yes and enter, Y and enter. But I would say that the entire like 2 seasons he's been bitching and moaning that why the hell are we doing this? What we're doing? Like, please leave me
Yep.
alone type thing for the entire.
And yet,
Yet he still craves it,
here we
obviously.
are. Yeah, and that bothered me there, like right here and now. Like before I again, like before we change the focus of that decision, that choice that can be made, like the choice he makes there, to me, I I wanted him to choose it. I wanted him to hit enter because I wanted to go down that path.
Mhm.
But there was something about the ability for him to choose that didn't sit well with me.
Hmm. All right.
You know, because like, well, not in a bad way, just like, because the thing is normally in the show what would happen is it would come in the way of an instruction.
Yeah.
It's to do it, just do this.
Yeah.
But that's not the way it's presented here. It's presented. It's not presented as instruction. It's presented as choice. You have a choice to make,
Yeah.
and it's not that different, but it is subtly different. And it's the difference. It's the subtlety where I think the real interest lies there, because it does open up so much more around that. But as you say, like he despite bitching and moaning through 2 seasons worth of this, decides that it's like, yeah, I need to go back. Like I miss this. I miss my friends. And I miss the way things were.
Mhm.
Um, and he sort of I guess it seems like he's almost leaving his own body,
Yeah.
kind of like falls backwards.
Yeah. And then wakes up in the room with the computer.
Yeah, no one else there,
No one else there.
just him.
Yep. And the computer.
Um,
And he's like, right, I need to work out what's happened now. And runs out the
yeah, because
room.
he doesn't know when or where he is, or
Yeah.
but what he does realize is that holy shit, it's warm.
Oh yeah.
It's no longer cold. Um, and yeah, that was it's obviously a very big difference. Because obviously we've been talking about the cold, and I don't know. One way to interpret that, I suppose, is that the cold is the further away he is from what he wants and the norm. The warmth is him starting to get closer to where he wants to be.
Oh,
Um,
suppose maybe, yeah. Well, you can say that. I'm not sure that's kind of the metaphor with the cold and warmth in this fighting.
no, I think there's other interpretation. Like I think
Hmm.
there's a lot to do with like the concept of sort of always being around and always being there and things like that that we can probably go into. But
Hmm.
yeah, he wakes up, he's in the warmth, he like barrels himself over the school gate because it's locked up,
Yep.
and it's I think like the middle of the night at this point.
Well,
Um,
quite late at night anyway, yeah. And then he goes
yeah,
to the convenience store, which I think is the one
yeah, back.
next to Yuki's
Yeah,
place.
it's the family mart. It's the
Yeah.
family mart from earlier on. Yeah,
He walks in, looks at the paper, and realizes it's the 7th of the 7th,
yep,
3 years
3 years
ago.
ago,
Yeah. Uh,
which is an important date.
yeah. So it's mentioned 3 years ago that Haruhi did something uh,
Yep.
in their whole school, and it's the same night as that night. Um, did you notice how when he walks in, the storekeeper just kind of looks at him, and then there's a guy walking behind him, and he goes, "Oh, welcome, sir."
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's
Yeah.
so I don't know if that's anything like just because he walks further into the store, or he just walks to the newspaper stand.
I. It was more. It was almost like there was a soft focus on that person walking past. Like we were supposed to know who that person was,
I
and I don't know
thought
why.
I thought it might have been Koizumi. back of his head, it kind of looked like him,
Yeah,
but maybe not.
I think
Anyway,
that. I mean, the thing is it very well could have been as well because he wouldn't have known Kyon
mm,
anyway at that point. So,
well, maybe. Don't know how powerful the organization is.
well, no, because well, no, because they meet right. They meet
At the school, yeah,
at the school.
but it doesn't. He's a shady character, man.
True,
So
true. That is true.
he's got all these
Although
like.
that's also the night he got his powers.
That is true. Anyway, so he finds out it's that night, and then I think he goes, "Oh, it's that night. This is the night we did this stuff." But I'm going to go to the park because it's about that
Yeah,
time, and I'm about to leave the park with the young one, and we'll have the older Mikuru.
yeah, because this is harkening back to the episode where they went back in time and we saw the older Mikuru while the younger Mikuru was unconscious. And in this we see that Kyon of that time takes the younger Mikuru and goes to the field to do what happened with
Hurry.
Haruhi.
Mhm.
But Kyon, who has appeared there now, catches up with the older Mikuru and kind of starts that conversation of like, do you know who I am? And she's like, oh, yeah, I know all of this.
Yeah,
Like I know not just who you are, but who you are and when you're from.
yeah,
Uh, because as we know, Mikuru is a time traveler. Um,
yep.
and she she was always talking about how things were classified, and I think now we're about to start to get a bit more detail around that.
Yeah, certainly are. And he's yeah, so things are starting to get a bit back to normal. Like there's the time travelers, and everyone is back to normal and such. And they're having a conversation on the park bench, saying that there's something I missed earlier when he first meets Harry in the Bourne timeline. Let's call it the Bourne timeline.
Mhm.
Uh, she says, "Oh, John Smith also said something else to me," and he's like, "I don't remember that crap. I didn't say that."
Yeah, yeah. She said that John Smith said John Smith wishes you all the success in your future endeavors or whatever it was.
Yeah, and he's like, "I didn't say that," and then I think the older Mickey says, "Yeah, you go and say that to her, and then we'll go and see Yuki or something like that." And then she whispers something to him as well
She does.
that no one quite catches.
Do you know what it is?
Uh, I'm your sister.
I'd hope it's not that. Did you? So I think there's an interesting bit here, and I can't remember the exact acronym, but she previously talked. Mikuru previously talked about the device she uses to time travel,
Hmm.
and rather than giving the acronym, she says out the name of the device.
Oh yeah, there's some temporal device portal or something.
But the interesting thing I think about it is that it says that it's destructive, it's destruction or destroyer or whatever it is, and I think it's the idea that it flattens timelines.
Ah, okay.
So
Yeah,
I don't know how that works into it, but it was it had destroy in the title,
yeah.
and that or destruction or destruct.
Sure, it's like a
Yeah,
TDP or something like that.
yeah. I'm going to need to check now.
Yeah. Last time I watched it, it was all really quiet because, like I said, they're trying to stop the copyright on YouTube.
It was TPDD, the time plane destruction device, and this is the thing where she starts to explain that in the future, computers aren't things that are physically in the environment, but they're part of people.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
Like, the TPDD is not a device as such that you would know normally. It's part of her. Um, but I think it's interesting that they give you the fact that it has it has destruction.
yeah. Oh, yeah. They never really go into much more than that. Do they?
No, I just think it's the idea of like we never really talk about how the time travel works, and I think that's like that seems like a choice you very much have to make very clearly when you're using it, how to use it.
Yeah, and it's definitely
Um,
his everything was classified for young Mikaru. That's classified. That's classified.
yep,
Well, look.
yeah, but she worked her butt off to to get where she was. So now she
Yeah,
can say more.
yeah. So what did she whisper under her breath then? What do you think?
No idea. Honestly, don't know. Like, I don't even have a theory. Like, it's one of the unexplained things.
Totally think it's his sister.
God, I hope not. Um. So yeah, we then go to the bit about John Smith shouting to Haruhi as she leaves the baseball field. And then we go to visit Nagato,
Mm.
which Mikuru is not looking forward to.
No, and I don't know. Was that because she did something wrong, or she knows who it was?
I I think it's that she is embarrassed and concerned about having made a mistake. Because the reason she knows everything is because a lot of it's her errors that are being tidied up. Um, but we get to the apartment
Mm.
where Nagato is, and ironically, the younger or other Mikuru and Kyon are actually in stasis in the room, like we talked about earlier. They're still there. They're going to be there for 3 years.
Yep.
Um, and this is the part where it all kind of kicked off for me a bit, like of just the grand scale of this conversation. Um, we get down to it, and there is a person who is to blame for this. There's a person who, because we talk about like what we've realized is well, Kyon. It's not that Kyon has changed timeline; it's that the timeline has changed around Kyon.
Mm.
So there's a lot in my mind that's thinking is like, well, if you're the only one that's unaffected, maybe you're the cause, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Uh, we've talked a lot about how Kyon may have more power than is let on.
Hmm.
Um, and I was kind of expecting maybe a little bit of something like that uh, through whether it's a subtle change that happened or not. Um, and then you know um, Yuki says it's like well, we can let's I will tell you who's going to cause this.
Mm.
Um, and we don't hear it.
No, yeah, she
We
tells
just
it.
see the reactions.
See the horror reactions. What was just mentioned at the top with the older Mikuru is because he's finally back in a reality that he can maybe talk about the things and how things have changed. He does ask her like, "Oh, Harry must have changed the timeline and made herself disappear." And they're like,
Yeah,
"No, no, it's not her. Uh,
yeah,
it's something else." Um, and then they go back to Yuki and they have the discussion, and turns out like the 18th of December is the turning point. That's when it all
yeah.
happens, and then
6 a.m.
yeah, and then a year before that, it's all been altered.
Yeah,
Um, at that point, and then and that's where he got inputted into that side of the timeline. Um, I don't think they. It's not this point. Do they go into why he was the one that can remember?
I don't remember why he can remember.
Yeah, I don't think they ever actually mentioned why he was the only one left unaffected.
Well, I have so I don't think it's ever explicitly stated, but I have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, we'll talk about them after.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, nobody hears. Well, nobody watching hears the name. But there's definitely the reaction. I think at this point I was fairly sure it was himself. Uh, that was my gut was telling me. And now what about you? Did you?
I think I recall watching this a few years back, and I think I might remember who it was at the time. So I wasn't in awe.
Yeah. Did you think that at the same time the first time you watched it though?
No, because I had no concept of the
You
anime.
had no clue what was happening. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. Okay, never mind.
which was the problem.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, all
Uh,
right.
all right. Yeah, sure. But I think this is where we sort of get into the idea. It's like, well, so what I'm going to do is you need to go back. You need to go to that time.
Mm,
You need to let it happen, and then you need to inject something into the person who caused this,
you could,
and it will stop it.
yeah, some nanobites or some
Yeah,
nanites.
and of course the thing is they know that they highlight that of course if they're there when the world changes, they'll change with it. But Yuki sort of like using her teeth bites them.
Yeah, because this is how she got rid of whatever was causing Mikuru to actually get all those random powers during the movie. She would
That's right.
inject uh, nanobots into Mikuru.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I think
Uh,
I don't remember she biting Mikuru. I think Mikuru already is technically immune because of those already.
I think it was off screen. I think it was just to show sort of a more intimate moment between Yuki and Kyon
Yeah,
more than anything else. Um, and then it's this sort of thing where they have to say like a weird bit like goodbye. It's like so we'll see you after. She's like yes,
yeah,
I'll be there. And it just and this is just where it kind of goes off the rails in the most kind of amazing way, I think. So we travel to the point of the inflection point where things the world changes,
yeah.
and
They use it.
what is it, we're 5 minutes before, that's where we're at now.
I think so. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
to use Mikuru's time travel ability.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, to get to the point, they just
yeah,
kind of hold hands, and she
yeah,
says she might feel a bit sick.
yeah. It's kind of like the last time. Only they were okay. He didn't have to close his eyes that time.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that's right.
and so yeah, so they land back in 18th of December, present day for them essentially, and he notes that it's the same spot that they changed clothes. Uh, Kiona, Koizumi, and Haruhi changed her into the gym uniform.
Yeah,
Uh,
he questions the significance of that as well, which I think is interesting. Like
yeah,
it's not. I think it's not like I think there is any significance to it, or there's not one that's noted. I like the idea that it's like what there's a connection here. Weirdly,
yeah. It's coincidence? Maybe.
yeah, probably not.
Yeah. And then it's really cold again because it's middle of winter.
That's right. And they forgot their shoes.
I forgot the shoes, but they still have. They has a coat and scarf though.
That's right.
which is handy because older Mikuru is wearing a tight skirt and a loose blouse.
And yeah, very true.
And he gives her the coat, and he gets the scarf. I don't know. Oh, and I think he's got his blazer because he had his blazer off
He
in
does.
the
Yeah,
summer.
he's got his school blazer, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's going to keep him warm. Uh, and then they wait at the point and see the culprit walking up the road in silhouette form.
I was pretty shocked.
Were you shocked? It
I
was. I suppose it was quite shocking because when I first watched
I
it,
was quite shocked.
I certainly didn't know any of the characters truly. I did watch like some of the first season when I first watched it,
Yeah.
so I kind of knew the characters, but didn't know them because I was watching in broadcast order a while at that point. So I never got to the end of
So
the
oh
first six
shit.
episodes.
I think um the the interesting thing, I think the shock comes from, to me, we talked about like someone has done this because they've chosen to do this,
Hmm.
which implies motivation.
Hmm.
Now, for Yuki, you immediately question, it's like, well, what's the motivation? Like, she doesn't have that kind of motivation, or you don't think so. Uh, so I think that's the shock, is that it's the, like she could do that with good reason,
Hmm.
because she's there's a pragmatism to her character, and she resolves issues in a very black and white way, because that's kind of the way she is. But uh, you're seeing something, you can't immediately see the reason behind,
Yeah.
and yet she's done it, and then
Well,
you have to wonder why.
I did have realised that in the start of it, before it all goes haywire, like way back at the start of the movie, the Koizumi and mentions that Yuki is getting a bit different, uh, like acting a
Really?
bit more open and freely than what she
Oh
usually
wow.
does. Yeah, he does make it in Keon notes that oh he's recognizing that she's changing too, and then I sure they mentioned that like well yeah that would kind of happen after reliving like 15,000 uh uh
Yeah,
week 2 weeks,
of the same day.
yeah, the
Oh
fortnights,
well, yeah, the same fortnight. Yeah.
yeah, same fortnight.
Um. So, and I suppose I would guess then it's like, because what we're saying is that Yuki past has prepared them for something that she knows will happen,
Mm,
that she's going to do, but
yeah,
she doesn't understand the implicit motivation and why. She doesn't understand the reasoning. She just knows the reality that it will happen,
yeah, and we should also note that she can't talk to that unit in the future.
because it's cutting her off. It's
Y-
cutting her off.
Yeah.
It's it's allowing her to see what will happen, but it's not allowing more data than that.
Mhm.
So that's when she says like synchronization with the timeline is possible, because she can see what's happening, but not connect directly to take the information from the unit to understand why.
Yeah, and also we kind of also miss the point in the conversation, which is quite deep, is that whoever changed the timeline stole the power from Haruhi, and that's why she didn't have any power in the new timeline.
That's right, yeah, because it's explicit that that's not where the power is in this new world.
Yeah,
It's
uh,
like she doesn't have that ability anymore, and that's as we'll come to realize, that is by design. Um, Yuki is the she's not only the cause of this, but she's the architect of it. It's it's uh it's not a random happenstance. This is choice, and that's like, I think, where I fall down on the idea that Kyon is the one that remembers. Um, because there's a connection between him. So I think that there's the point right at the very start of the show
Mhm.
when we're having the conversation about who she is and what she is. She talks about how the longer she exists, the more corrupt data builds up in her.
Mhm.
And I my sort of like, and I think this is maybe a general interpretation is that that's humanity and that's emotion. That's what that is. That is the she explicitly says she will not behave the way she should, and I think that's because she can no longer act with objectivity because things become subjective because she feels frustration at always being relied upon. She feels frustration at Harui's just complete. She's the center of all attention. Always, everything is about her. Uh, and eventually that manifests into, well, I don't want that anymore. And I think the one thing that she does care about is that the one constant that she loves is Kyon. She wants to have what Harui has with Kyon on that personal human level.
Mhm.
Um, by but by making him remember, I feel like it's she lets him know or is try I don't know if it ever becomes knowledge for him or anything, but it's like she's trying to say to him, it's like, look, I've made this choice for you. It's not like some of this is for me because I'm sick of it.
Mm.
Like I don't want to do this anymore. But part of this I want you to know is about you.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't know that if he were to forget everything. Like he
Yeah.
could understand that she had made that decision to allow him to remember because she wants him to know that that's a conscious choice. Like she wants this is about it's about her, and this is the not just the inflection point for like the pathos for the movie, but this is the inflection point for where we realize it's not about Haruhi. It never was. Despite the fact Kyon has been front and center the entire time, it's not about him. It's about decisions that he's making that are being given his way by who the actual center of the movie is about, in my opinion, and that's Yuki.
Yeah.
She's the she's driving it. Like that decision where she says, "You can push enter, and we'll return to normal," or you can just stay where you are. And that's I'm not telling you how to do this. I'm not telling you how to get back to normality. I'm not telling you instructing you how to do this. I'm telling you what will happen either way, and I want you to choose because I want you to choose me as it is now, and that's the desire there. That's the character journey for Yuki is this frustrated, emotional character who gave away everything, like gave away complete unlimited power just to be normal.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one way to look at it. There's another way to look at it. All right.
Okay, shoot.
All right. Maybe Koizumi has convinced Yuki to change the world so he can be with Haru, because there's a comment
Okay.
in guess as he was doing the program, Koizumi does state that he's jealous how Haru's responding to Kion in the new world. I think he also states it later in the movie too.
That's interesting. I hadn't even considered that.
And he could be the poison chalice, as it were, to uh, put Yuki over the edge and convince him to be with Haru, but Haru doesn't like. Because there's been multiple points in through the anime season where he's like, "Oh, I could probably do it, but I don't think she would appreciate it."
Yeah, yeah, and that is interesting. But I think there's the one thing in there is that I feel like Koizumi's not a bad person.
No.
Like he's not, and he's very selfless. But again, so is Yuki,
Hmm.
and Yuki changes.
Yeah.
So you could very well be right.
That's
Like, but I also don't know how easily manipulated Yuki would be. But again, for her to make that change anyway would have been dramatic enough
uh,
a change in character.
yeah. I say that maybe Koizumi has noticed, obviously has noticed the change in Yuki, and has maybe put suggestions to her where she's weak and moved it on that way. But that's just
Oh man,
that's one way
that's
to
such
no,
a that's such a downer position.
I don't know. But no, I think yours is probably more right. Your idea of the movie.
No, but the thing is, I can't fault you because it fits.
It does.
Like it fits. Like because we're if we're like talking about implicit motivation, like already what Yuki's doing, it's keyed up. It teed up in a way
Mhm.
that you could interpret it the way I'm interpreting it. But similarly, a lot of the stuff you're talking about with Koizumi has been teed up, and you could interpret it that way as well.
Yeah,
Um,
he's certainly good at say I think manipulating the group into things to do, or at least has
yeah,
underhanded schemes like, oh, we'll just go to this island. It so happens I know someone that lives on this desert island in the middle of the ocean. Oh, we're playing a murder mystery game, but pretend that he's dead.
yeah. But yeah, we should have mentioned as well. Actually, in order to inject, well, we know now Yuki. Originally, it was a big syringe, and then it's this weird sort of Gantz style future gun
Yeah,
uh, that's
cause
been given across.
yeah, because Kion's like, I don't think I'd be able to do that. But what happens if I get in the right place, the wrong place? Anyway, so
I just, sorry, I just
uh-huh.
while we're on the topic, there's a bit that I completely forgot and I really wanted to mention because it's the path. There's a whole thing about this, the scene where he has to make the choice.
Oh, we're not quite there yet.
Um, no, what do you mean?
Oh,
We've
well,
passed that bit.
are we? Well,
Oh,
well,
we've passed the bit. Like I'm talking about the choice to whether to go back to normal or not.
oh, on the computer.
He han he hands uh he hands Yuki back the form,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and that was heartbreaking. I did not enjoy that one bit.
It
Like it
was.
was so awful, and I like it didn't matter how much explaining away he did about joining the group twice or like joining two groups and this, and it was just that not only was he about to make a choice that she didn't know wasn't the choice like she doesn't understand the gravity of that choice he's making because of what she's gone to get to this point.
Yeah,
uh
because she also loses
he's
her memories. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a double rejection in this. It's like not only am I rejecting whole cloth your attempt to try to be a normal person and try to like have a relationship with me in one way or another, I am rejecting you just in this reality in general. And that is like looking back, like reflecting back on it from now where we are now is just even worse. Like
yeah.
it's just awful.
But at the same time, if he wasn't offered a place to move forward, I don't think he rejected her at that point. 'Cause cause the computer activated that time, and he was going through the process of, let's do it type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And I suppose
But
that's
it's
a
that it's
significance of just kind of showing the world that he doesn't want this world. I think that's maybe what that metaphor might be.
and it is, but there's a flip side. The thing is that despite the strength of that metaphor, is you're right. Like he craves the normality, and it's supposed to signify the strength of his bond with that group and that reality.
Mhm.
But in so doing, also completely rejecting the reality that Yuki has tried to build. I think for them,
Yeah, I think so. I think
she's tried to give him what he wants, what she thinks he wants, but also what she wants for him and for her. And like she tries to take the paper from him and can't even find the strength to take a bit of paper, and it's hard. It's hard to watch.
yeah,
And like I say, I think looking back on it now, it's not that simple a rejection. And when you add that other layer of rejection on top of that, like the just complete whole cloth rejection of the desire for that reality, it just becomes even more devastating, I think.
yeah. It's pretty deep in that sense. So I was thinking with the whole rejection of things and that it's kind of like the trope that humans don't want a perfect world as such. Because he was
Yeah.
always like complaining and moaning that like the club was weird and doing stupid stuff and why doing this. And then he's obviously wholeheartedly went, no, I need that in my life. And in fact, we're coming to that exact point where he has his whole internal monologue as he approaches Yuki in the street.
Yeah. He's standing on his own head, pushing his face down into the desk,
Yeah,
grilling him about, it's like, why do you even want this? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, can't you just admit this was fun? Like, can't you?
yeah,
It's such it's a really powerful scene again,
mhm.
like because it's that internal fight of why would you reject what you're being given? Like you're being given something you want, right?
It's been yeah, you've been
Like you want
craving for
you've
like
been
the last half year or year.
yeah, exactly. Like this has been your absolute desire for the longest time, or at least that's the perception of it, because you are tired of this too. But really, you just like moaning. You like complaining about it because it's how you are.
Gives you feel superiority over
Yeah,
the rest of them.
100%.
But
It's that. Um, and again, like I think there's this scene, like obviously because that's the point is the point of that conversation is to finally have that internal conflict resolve of like it's like the reason you made this decision is because it's fun and you wanted that. That's the life you want. Like you can pretend there are other things you want and you can pretend that it's annoying and frustrating, but really it's exactly what you want. Um, and that makes the next bit really hard to watch as well, where it's like, he's like, he speaks to Yuki and they kind of have this short back and forth. It's like, why are you out here at this time? She's like, a walk, I think. And he's like, that's a lie. It's a lie. That's not why you're here. Um, and then he pulls the gun on her,
yeah,
and it's quite it's a striking thing as well, where you're like that like how do you even though you don't need to explain it away because like it's going to be over like whatever this happens, like it's not going to be a memory, it's not going to be anything, you don't need to feel guilty about it. There's a certain shock that comes with that because it's like you don't like seeing that character in that level of distress, and even further to that, you don't want the character that's doing it to be the one that's doing it.
yeah. And then
Oh,
you just get a shout of like, "Come on, look out!" And
this is oh
then Ryoko appears and has appeared and to stab him in the back. Literally,
fucking shivs him
yeah, it's a
just like
proper
straight up. prison style shivving.
Get in what livers?
Yeah, like right in the liver.
Right in the liver.
Um, it's 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 really tough. Like
Yeah,
because watching it, I was like, oh, what? Why did that happen?
yeah.
Okay.
And then he kind of stumbles forward and falls over and full of blood because she rips the
Oh,
blade out of him a while, and you get to see
oh, it's
the
it's
blood
serrated
splat.
as well.
Yeah, and blood splattered
Oh, that
everywhere.
this the imagery in this scene is off the chart. Like
Mm,
the striking motion that she does is reminiscent of the way she tries to attack him when Yuki saves him.
yes, yeah,
There's a direct parallel to that striking move, but this time she's not there to save him. And yeah, it's that this is not what Yuki wants. Like she's on her knees, upset at what's happened, and the Ryoko is basically kind of dancing around,
mm,
and in doing that, just like flicks the blood off the knife, and it just goes all over Yuki's face.
yeah.
It's quite a striking scene, I think, in general.
Right.
Um,
Because what he kills over and goes, "Oh, well, why is she here?" type thing, and then goes, "Of
yeah,
course, she's Yuki's shadow." type thing, and must be
yeah.
self defense mode or something. That you keep bringing her back, or something. And then
It feels like oh, sorry, go on.
and I think she kind of gloats over Yuki about it or something.
Yeah,
I can't remember the exact words, but anyway, this is the point where in the YouTube feed the video's been deleted. Mm. So good luck. I found a fan dub of it, which is kind of weird in its own self.
yeah.
It's okay. Like same lines, just not the same voices because been fan dubbed.
I think um this is this weirdness where it's like all that power that Yuki had to make that change, and this didn't change. Like that corrupt shadow was still there. Um,
hmm
at the same point, though, you have to argue: was she really corrupt or just doing what she was supposed to be doing?
Um,
Because
Rico,
she was
yeah,
protecting Ryoko. Yeah, she's just protecting Yuki. I mean, yeah, she maybe didn't need to like dance and throw blood about it. That was a bit much, but
oh, and enjoy it. She certainly was enjoying it.
oh yeah, she is. She's getting super threatening and thrilled about just it's like I'm just gonna finish this off. You won't feel anything. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Um, and she raises the blade up
Oh, she's
to
tough of him. Oh, well,
yeah she's leaning over him, like leaning on him, and is about to deal the final blow. Um, when she's stopped.
yep. And there's a voice saying, "Sorry, I couldn't intervene earlier. It's you'll understand," type thing, and it's his
Yeah,
voice.
it hurt. It hurt for me too.
Yeah, for me too. And it means it was his voice, and he was like, "Huh?" And then he goes unconscious. There's a big
Well,
lot
there's
of
also there's two Mikarus at that point, I think, as well.
well, the older Mikuru is there already, and I think Mikuru must have came back in time with Kyon to obviously do the thing. So he goes back to that period
Yeah.
in time three times, but we don't know how
So
or when.
here's the thing, though.
Hmm?
I does that Kyon die?
Um,
Because he can't, right? Because the other one says it hurt for him too.
Yeah, don't think he dies. Maybe.
Because we're also trying to reconcile an extra Kyon.
Like, oh, maybe. I mean, all that happened was the timeline changed and he didn't forget his memory, so the timeline that he was in for a good part of the movie was still technically his timeline, just Yuki's wiped everyone else's memory and changed it. And changed where
Right.
Haruhi was Harui is went to and Koizumi as well, and somehow changed that he's
So
not an S. But that was
yeah.
3 years ago. But is that
Okay. So
does that actually go back 3 years?
so he, so he doesn't die though.
Mm-hmm.
So he passes out,
Mm-hmm.
as you say, and he wakes up in hospital,
Mm-hmm.
not stabbed.
Uh, well, yeah, that's what Kyon Koizumi tells him because he's at the bedside.
But you would know if you'd been stabbed whether someone tells you you haven't or not. To
I
be clear.
You would think so.
So why?
Um,
Why is he not stabbed?
Possibly Yuki's worked her magic again. I mean, she's managed to alter the entire timeline.
Valid.
Uh,
Okay.
and
So
Huri certainly does think he's fell down a set of stairs, as Koizumi says.
that's right. Yeah, because Koizumi's sitting there cutting up apples, and it's his turn to wait.
Mhm.
The SOS brigade are taking turns waiting on him waking up. And the narrative at this point is that he was with them, he was the last to come down the stairs, and as he was coming down the stairs, fell and hit his head. And it's now the 21st of December. He's been unconscious for 3 days.
Mhm.
Um, and the whole time he was very upset about him being unwell and him being unconscious.
Yeah.
She took it quite hard.
Yes.
Uh, um, and we get to the conversation. It was like, so where is I was like, how is Haruhi doing? How is she doing now? And Koisumi's like, well, why don't you look for yourself? And she's like properly caterpillared up, pupid up in a sleeping bag, right next to the hospital bed,
Yeah.
where, according to Koisumi, she hasn't left since
Since
since it happened.
yeah, like a really tight corner too. It's like
Yeah, like
so,
literally space enough to lie in, and that's it.
yeah. Um, he should mention, I don't know, it's that he obviously wakes up and he's looking around the room, well, all while talking to Koizumi, and Koizumi like, oh, who are you looking for? I think, and that's how they lead on to
Yeah,
that, I think.
yeah, that's
Uh,
right.
And then, are you going to draw on her face, or is he? Does Keon says that maybe I should draw on her face?
Yeah, like why? I wasn't thinking that at all. Why would you do that? And then there's sort of like a tender moment where he touches her, moves the hair across her forehead and touches her eyes and lips.
Hmm.
Um, I think almost in like that's his Haruhi, like just sort of validating that. It's like
Hmm.
in a way. And then of course that wakes her up as it would do if someone's just touching your face while you're asleep.
Yeah, rubbing the eyes. She gets up.
And then yeah, well, tries to for a good 30 seconds where she's like almost smothering herself face first into the hospital bed on the sleeping bag and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Did she get upset that he's woke up without while she was still asleep? I think she probably does.
She got very upset that he did not inform her that he was going to get up before he got up. I
Yeah,
believe were her words.
that seems right for Harry. um,
Yeah, I think, and she's also, barking orders at him already and really upset that he's left his post for 3 days, and there's going to be fines. She's talking fines for his insubordination,
hmm,
which he does not care. He's like, "Yep, that sounds fine to me. Uh, I'll do that."
yeah.
Um, yeah, and that's yeah. He's back on his timeline with his group,
Hmm,
and he's now woken up
yep. And he's got to stay in the hospital for a night while the double dude runs some
Yep,
tests.
for
Uh,
observation. Yeah.
yep. And then I suppose the next scene is essentially he goes up the roof of the hospital and he has a conversation with Kiki about stuff.
Yeah.
About like tell us if you're going haywire and stuff, and I think was that essentially what
He
was going?
he apologizes.
Yeah.
He says he's sorry that he relied on her so much, and that you know she was an afterthought in a lot of what happened, and that wasn't right. Um, and appreciate, he realizes that that's part of the decision that drove her to make that choice. Because she's now synchronized, I think, isn't she? She
Yeah.
understands, and she's also been reprimanded by the thought entity for what she's done.
Mhm.
And she informs Kyon that she is to be punished, and that punishment will be decided soon. But that means that she will cease to be the Yuki he knows, and she will cease to be what he knows, even though she may continue.
Mhm.
Uh, and Kyon doesn't like that, so he goes into full threatening mode. He's like, "Well, you better tell the thought entity that that's not cool, and that I can fuck their shit up more."
Some of that, yeah.
You
It's like,
know, yeah. He's like, I have a god here that doesn't know they're a god, and I could just maybe mention that to them.
I'm sure he did that in the last episode of season two.
I
Uh,
think he might do actually.
and she just laughed it off and like, what? That was stupid. That'd be stupid.
Yeah,
You having a joke with me? Um,
that's the flashback in the last episode,
oh yeah. Because
because then we speculated that he may have somehow brought about that through that conversation.
yeah. Something like that. And then that's essentially kind of like the last scene before the credits, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because Yuki then transmits that message uh, to the thought entity. It's like, yep, it's done. And then we talk about how Yuki means snow, and it starts to snow,
All right, yeah, yeah,
which is kind of nice, I think.
yeah. But I'm back into like the YouTube video of section where it's really quiet volume. I had to pop up the speaker so any other sounds just deaf me. Uh, I would also note that at the end, in between the credits, there's a scene in the credits of Yuki in a library
Yep,
watching two kids fill out their
yep.
library cards while helping the girl get her library card.
So here's a question for you.
Uh-huh.
What does that mean?
Does that mean? I suppose she's either half reminiscing at the point of where Keelan did that for her, because that was a meaningful point in her life. Oh, what? Wait, what? Books in the library? I did not know these
Yeah,
exist. and it's just like, oh, I can't remember that.
So there's a couple of things in this. Is the two kids actually look quite a lot like Mikuru and Surya
Really?
as children
Because,
potentially.
well, you think Suri's a time traveler too?
No, I just wonder how long Yuki's been there,
Oh, right.
or where she is, or what's going on. But there's another, like, that's just a thing I was reading about because I thought it was kind of weird that it was specifically two kids, and then I did a bit of reading into that. But more importantly, someone questioned is that we end the movie with Kyon threatening the thought entity not to take away Yuki from him.
Yeah.
But I then have to wonder, we don't find out if that's the case or not.
Yeah, we haven't found out yet.
So,
Also,
yeah,
we also haven't found out about the other Keon, the future Keon, coming back to save him from the knife stab, and if they finished the
true.
job because he didn't actually shoot Yuki at that point.
Another valid point.
He gets stabbed in the back before he does.
So yeah, so he either does the job or doesn't. You presume he must do though, right? Because
Yeah, because the timeline's kind of sorted itself out.
yeah, but interestingly, I have to wonder if the thought entity removed Yuki from the situation she was in
Oh,
and now is no longer with the group, and that the reason she's in the library on her own is just that because she now exists. She's necessary, but maybe in a different capacity.
uh,
And the reason that she like because you'll know she's reading a book and she's looking down and then she looks up to look at the kids
mhm.
and then rather than look away from the kids and look back down she pulls the book up and I just have to wonder if that's like that I did read a lot of speculation. It's like maybe that's about a smile, like it's like that reminiscence because she still remembers, she will remember that she's not being erased, but maybe everyone else doesn't remember that,
Mm. Yeah,
you
maybe.
know, like that's her memory of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's an interpretation I kind of liked.
I think there was a manga called The Disappearance of Yuki, of Nagato. I think there was a
I may read further now as a result. Um,
yeah.
I yeah, I I I just knew there was going to be an after credit sequence. I
Why?
just knew it.
Because it was in the time of Marvel.
Well, I mean, it was before Marvel really made it that popular.
Yeah, well, also Jackie Chan did them all the time.
Oh, he did outtakes.
Yeah, but that was like end scenes.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, hey,
But
look, I
yeah,
jumped
this
on a
is like
hovercraft and broke my ankle.
we should also talk about how I think incredible the outro music is. It's this lovely a cappella song. Um,
Yeah.
this is really fantastic. Um, and one of the things I did learn through reading about this film
Hmm.
uh, is the director of the movie,
Uh-huh.
who's Yasuhiro Takamoto.
Uh-huh.
Um, he was killed in an attack on an animation studio in Japan 2 years ago.
Wait, what? Oh, I think I remember something about that. About some Japanese guy
Yep,
went
Kyoto.
metal.
Yep, the Kyoto animation arson attack. The guy set fire to the building and killed a large number of people.
Yeah.
and he was one of the people that was killed in it.
All right.
Yeah,
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing that happened.
So
Like,
I must admit, like that was deeply saddening to me after watching that movie and thinking it's like that was like I think directorially, if you think about what a director does in animation, um, how they help build character development and make the just bring that world to life. Um, I think what he did with that movie far in every way surpassed what they were able to do with 28 episodes of television. Like, yes, it was built on the backbone of that. Like, it obviously needed the knowledge and context from that show, but like even to try and accomplish something so much as a thing that exists over the top of that 3 hours doesn't seem enough. Like, it seems like it should have taken longer
yeah.
to be able to do that. Yeah, I would probably go as far to say, like, obviously, a lot of my typically my favorite sort of animes are standalone things. I don't typically like the movies of uh anime shows. They're not normally that great.
No,
uh
don't think
you
they
know
are. Yeah.
as a fan of Dragon Ball Z, who does not really like the Dragon Ball Z movies, they're not that special.
Well, I mean, the live action one.
I mean, we don't talk about that, but
Yeah, that was bad. I watched that when I went to America.
I remember watching it and then immediately regretting my decision.
I also regretted it, but I was also in a 4 hour flight. Is it a 4 hour flight to like Orlando?
Oh, from
Glasgow.
a 4 hour flight? No,
Yeah, it's 6.
no, maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah.
You were
It's
stuck though.
yeah, I was stuck there and I still regret watching that movie.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we'll use this to waste
Um,
time. Oh, wait, that was a terrible idea. I just wasted. I could have done something so much better.
like be unconscious or
Yeah,
or
yeah,
stare at this wall.
yeah.
Um, I love this movie.
It's
It is really it is something special. Like there's everything about it is amped up in a way that it just everything looks incredible.
mhm.
Like the characters look great, the scenes look great, the just everything looks fantastic. The actual narrative is incredible. Like how you lay a blanket over the top of what mess was underneath and come up with something coherent and compelling is beyond me. Um, and like I like that they changed the tone, but not completely. Like they kept elements of the kind of goofiness from time to time, but generally the tone of the movie was different. And I think that's because it's the change of the focus of character.
Mhm.
Because the focus normally is on the goofiness is it's all Haruhi, it's her demands, it's her craziness, it's her all her bullshit all the time. So that's where the drive is behind the show, and that's why it manifests itself in that way. But this movie is not about that. The movie to me is about Yuki. Like
Yeah.
she's the central piece of that, and her character well is actually more melancholy. Like her, the sadness that she has is what's driving this film. Like it's bleak and stark and sad and emotional in a way that the show's just not. There are hints of that to help drive character development, but here it's everything.
Hmm.
Like the whole movie is in service of it feels very much a narrative representation of that character, like that sadness. And the thing for me, I think the worst of it is that is like almost you're like, why did you like knowing everything now? Why would you choose that?
Uh,
Why would you choose that? Like I know that there's that huge internal fight about it's like it's fun and it's interesting and I love it and it's like that's cool, but like you see what you have here, like
yeah,
it's
I
it's
think
something.
yeah, but I think it's also that he it's a Kyon Hurry story in the sense that it's him. He wants to be with her instead of with like Yuki.
Yeah, I suppose it's the thing is like the heart wants what it wants. That's not the I guess that's not the argument I'm trying to make. I think it's just that the opposite side of that is that the heart wants what it wants, and
Mm.
you look at the lengths that there's no pushiness. It's just I really want you to think about these choices, and it just feels like the wrong ones to me. And I'll say that because I genuinely don't like Harui. I think she's just such a frustrating force, and she can be. Yes, she has redemption in certain areas, and I think in the film as well. Like it's like there are areas of redemption for her in interactions that I really liked. But generally, like I don't think that makes up for the bottomless shittiness that she's given across more often than not.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
it's one thing to be selfless. It's one thing to be selfless in the way that you can basically throw other people at that problem. It's like, yeah, these people need this more than me, but I'm not going to deal with that. You guys are.
yeah. I mean, I think she's slowly changing for the better through it,
Yeah,
and I think she might.
yeah, maybe.
And the fact that she was distraught over Kyon, sort of fall down the stairs thing, because also they can't tell him. Oh yeah, the alien android is twin sister stabbed him in the back because she just wants to fuck with you, essentially.
Yeah,
Because it's just like that was the whole reason she wanted to kill him in the first one. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, I just wanted to see what would happen if if we did this to you and what
that's right.
Harry would do.
It's just, yeah, it's interesting, like to note another note and the idea of like we talked about Kyon having power,
Mhm.
and like ultimately, you have to ask is a god that doesn't know their god actually the one with the power,
Uh,
or is it the person that can manipulate them uh, that has
yeah,
the real power?
it's kind of like that. I was just thinking, I was having another thought about the whole uh, Yuki changing the world, right?
Yeah.
Here's the other thought. Maybe, right, that Yuki, a Zord, Ryoko, she disappeared back in like the episode 6/12 of like the first season. And maybe she has Zord her into into her body, be part of the, whatever happened to her. And she's
Hmm.
slowly corrupting Yuki through the entire series. And and she's the one that made the world change and came back. And that's why she came back and stabbed her in the back.
Oh wow,
Keon
like
in
a
the back.
regeneration.
Yeah, like some superhero regeneration crap.
Shit.
It's like, I've finally.
Again.
And that's what actually Yuki did. And then the future ones realized that it's actually Ryoko was the one that did all the crazy crap and
Yeah.
got rid of her. That's possible the reason.
Potentially.
That
Yeah.
how could
I
we?
mean, again, there's no way I can disprove it. I think that's the kind of nice thing I think about this movie is that there's a lot, despite the fact it lays a lot of it on. Like you can, like you see, it's very honest with what it's doing.
Mhm,
There's a lot of interpretation, um,
mhm.
and I think regardless of the interpretation you would walk away with, I think the thing for me that it's made me realize is that the character with the most depth is Yuki. Like it just the conflict between, you know, the job and the contrast with the group, and just seeing what she's been through, all because, you know, of one person. Like, it's just such a great conceit to me for a movie.
Yeah,
Like, is that, you know, well, that person who was just there the whole time, who just had to suffer through everything you were doing, whether it was good or bad, because it's the job. They've been doing this constantly, and they've sacrificed their time, and it seems like not their sanity so much, but their ability to cope with the lack of emotions and now being replaced with emotion. And like, we have to remember as well, it's like, you know, it's like, oh, but it's only been a handful of years. It's like, well, no, like, Yuki was there. Every Yuki remembers everything from the Endless Eight.
yeah, yeah.
She was
She,
there around those terrible things that happen sometimes, or, you know, like,
yeah,
it, that's a long time to experience something or someone. And I think that, yeah, to me, it's almost like an endorsement of, it's like, well, this is probably the point where it drove you too far. Like, you can see the influence that Haruhi is having on this group, and you don't like it, and you can see that, you know, Kyon is frustrated by this, and you feel this connection with Kyon,
mhm.
and it just cements that.
Yeah. So that's a good point, actually. Just going back to the Endless Eight, they had to have the Endless Eight episodes in season two. Otherwise, this movie
Yep,
wouldn't be so powerful. But I don't think they would have to
yep.
have them in the 8 episodes that they made them on.
Like we talked about the Endless Eight, that what Endless Eight attempted is something absolutely incredible, and it just didn't. It fell down a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing for me, is that it just it just missed the mark in a way that it didn't need to. Um, but you're right. Without it, there's not as much strength behind that. Like really, Yuki's journey as a character, we see all of it, but the part you don't see is actually the thing I think that has the most impact.
Hmm.
You know, like that, you experience slots of that time,
Yeah.
but really, that's where the damage was done, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Even Kyon and is highlighting that in this movie and through the later episodes. I think like fifteen
Yeah,
thousand times. Or run through 2 weeks.
I mean, it's like, what, hundreds of years we discussed.
um. Yeah. Well, it's what was it 2 weeks? 52. So that we what was it
Wait,
52.
14 days times 15,000 is 210,000 days,
Mhm.
divided by 52.
Wait, how does that work?
That's weeks, right?
Yeah, but you're in days,
In a
I thought.
year. So I am. So it also has to be divided by 7.
Divided by 70 a week. Yep.
So it's 576 years. 577 years, actually.
Yeah, it's only
So it's
five
nearly
centuries.
600 years. Yeah. Nearly 600 years of what might be conceived as torture at that point, because it's just a constant reminder. And, like, you know, as they say, it's like, the more time she spends, the more corrupt, in quotations, she's becoming, and the more she is absorbing, I think, the feelings and of everything. And yeah, like there's no doubt in my mind, like that's the pathos for this character at this point, is that this is the inflection point where it all changed. Like
Ye-
this is what drove these decisions. This is what drove this narrative. This is what made this happen. Um, yeah, I think that I'd be curious to go back and watch Yuki throughout the episodes with a closer eye now, knowing what I know and piecing it together.
Yeah,
Um,
she certainly
but
throws
yeah,
in certainly throws in a bit of emotion and a bit of interest into things like the time that they did the computer club activity where they challenged them to that game, and they're like, "Oh,
yeah,
you want to join the computer club?" I was like, "Yes,"
yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah. It's just that showing that like that what they call corruption, I suppose, is the humanity. It's the step away from objectivity. That's what it sounds like to me. Is like that corruption is the, because she says it's like, I'm not going to make the best decisions, and I'm going to. And it's like, well, no, because you're no longer going to be able to remain objective because you have likes and dislikes and wants and desires that you didn't have.
Yeah,
That it sounds like the corruption to a degree is almost humanity, without sounding too trite. Um, but yeah, I watching this movie made me feel like it was worth watching the rest of the show.
so that's
And I
good.
feel like if that was the way someone sold this to me, it's like, look, here's 28 episodes, and you're probably going to enjoy 50% of them.
Hmm.
Like, really enjoy 50% of them, and the others, they're going to middle and not be so great. But by the time you get to the movie, you will be so glad that you watched all of that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Like, I've
it certainly the movie certainly is a. I certainly enjoy it more in the second season of it, and it does kind of make up for the lacking episodes in second season. Like it's a Melanchon. Oh, was it the Raspberry
this.
Pi episodes? Rhapsody.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on, that's the one where he goes back in time.
That's right. It's Bamboo Leaf Rhapsody.
Yeah, and Endless Eight are certainly ones that you need to watch to understand some things. And probably the first six episodes of the first season uh, are are the Melancholy of Suzumiya.
Important. Yeah,
Uh,
but I think that's the thing is that I don't. I've gone from being frustrated at the way the show was to thinking you cannot change it. You can't. Like it is the movie's like the foil. Like it sits the it's the missing pieces and it's the additional pieces. It's kind of a perfect amalgamation,
mm,
and I give you change. Like, and there are episodes I just don't like, but in every one of them there is something that pays a dividend to what the end is here, like to that last episode, that last movie. It all filters into that
mm,
in a way that I think the payoff is absolutely worth it, in my opinion. Um, because you realize like the great realization is that, as much as, yes, the show has Harry in the title, and yes, Kyon is the narrator,
mm.
is that, well, here's another character that's been there this whole time, uh,
Yeah,
and just been along for the ride, and look what happened.
yeah, yeah. She's certainly there, and there's still much more things to tell in it. It's not closed the book as such in this series. It could potentially
No,
be yearning for more, with one trying to convince what the hell that thing it was all about. Um, with future Keon, and wow, was there other things that's been left unanswered?
We don't know what Mikuru said to Kyon.
Oh yeah, swear it's I'm your sister. Come on, it's a Princess Leia thing.
But I think on that note, I don't want to belabor any more points, but like I think I'm very glad that you suggested this show now,
Yeah,
because having watched that, every other thing that we've done feels worth it. Like I was genuinely worried about watching this movie. I think like as much as it was difficult to watch generally, I had a thing in my head where it's like I was worried about watching this because I know how much season two was like a bit of a slog, and I thought this this movie, I don't know.
no, well it's yeah, it's 100 times better than season two.
I think it's better than season one.
See,
Like I it
uh,
just
yeah, it's mainly because season one's got random episodes that's not so great, and I like the first the 6 part the titular thing. I like that one.
they're great.
Yes.
I did really enjoy those, but I think the one thing I will say is that the fantasticness of the concept of the whole thing, it's incredible to me that the movie can lay that so bare and have that so feel so close to reality, even though it couldn't be further away. Like there's something to like everything that happened in the series just feels so far from reality, and yet there's something in the movie that just grounded everything
Uh,
in a
yeah.
way that I think was incredibly compelling. I don't know what that is specifically, or whether it's just the change in tone, or the treatment of the narrative, or everything.
I
But I
think
think as a whole
there's
package, yeah, it just works for me.
I think it's the change of tone and probably the kind of like Kyon being out of place in the world and being a fevered maniac for half the movie. Pretty much that.
Yeah,
Like
that's
what?
true.
Who are you? No.
You're not wrong. I suppose we did essentially the first episode was telling us like, and then Kyon assaulted this person, and then Kyon
Well,
assaulted this person.
and then
Whoops.
he assaulted the other person. The only thing I think would make it better if he actually grew a big bushy beard. I don't know why.
That would have been pretty good.
Like, this make more
Right.
sense to me if he had a big bushy beard.
What year is it? Like Robin Williams and Jumanji.
Yeah, yeah, just like that, yeah. That's probably what I'm thinking
What
of.
year is it?
Yeah, 1996. What?
Ah.
Uh,
um.
but yeah,
Yeah, that was fantastic, and I really enjoyed it. Um.
so uh,
I can't believe we did it.
yeah, that's
25 episodes.
yeah, and a whole
Is it 25?
movie,
No, sorry, not 25 episodes. How many episodes of this have we done? This
24
will be the 16th episode
of Haruhi.
of Haruhi. Yep,
Yeah, um,
16th episode.
wow. And that's it. That's as much as of the anime that's been aired and made, and
Can't believe it.
that was last. The movie was aired in 2009.
Yeah,
It's now 2021. It's
I feel
the
like they're probably done with it now, right?
there was a rumor that he was writing a new manga or something on it, or was it a sideline manga or something? Anyway,
Hmm.
so maybe there's another one coming up in it.
One of the things I saw in the forum that I was reading through, just some comments and things on the movie, was that somebody has a tradition that they watch this movie on the 18th of December every year, which I I really liked. I
God.
think that's kind of like they also pointed out it's actually kind of a Christmas movie as well.
That was
Um,
certainly got Christmas theme.
Set
Yeah,
it's
just
set
like
in Christmas, yeah.
just like Die Hard 2
So
and 1.
so we finally did it, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back with a palate cleanser.
Yes, a palate cleanser.
What are we doing, Colin?
I suggested Digi Chara.
I don't know what it is yet,
I
but
might not be alive.
I'm assured that it's short. So
It is, believe it is definitely short. Yep, short. 5-minute episodes. There is multiple seasons of it. But we're just going to watch like the Digi Chariot saga because I guess called different names. I feel that either it'll drive Steve insane and me because, yep, it's
yeah, maybe.
nonsensical, or Steve will kill me. It's
Well,
one of the two options.
we'll see.
He
And then
never gave me
after the
options.
palate cleanser,
Mhm.
we'll be back with our next show.
Yeah, which is a bit more serious and once again thoughtful. And
Yeah, and this is my choice. We've been taking kind of turnabout.
yeah,
I chose Golden Boy for better or for worse, and you chose Ghost Stories for better or for worse.
mhm.
And wait, yeah, and then you also chose Haruhi, but yeah,
Well, you did. You were like, "What we're going to watch?" And originally, the concept was to watch bad anime.
yeah.
When you watched the dubbing of the swim scene in Golden Boy episode 4,
We just had to watch it.
where he's
It was just so ridiculous.
where he takes a swimming test to be a swimming instructor, and
Yeah,
goes and pretty much drinks the whole pool. Have you got a clip?
I do. Hang on. Uh,
How do you like my swimming?
That's the end of the clip. He's essentially going.
yeah, I've got a few Golden Boy ones. I have this one.
Since I didn't have a computer, I had to teach myself using a keyboard made of paper.
Yeah,
And
Oh shit!
notably that those last two were all from the first episode.
they were, yeah. And
Life is a mystery.
And that was from the first episode.
just gonna see what other ones I've got here.
Have you accepted Jesus as your personal savior?
Oh. Yeah, that's Ghost Stories
Have
first
you accepted
episode.
Jesus as your personal savior?
Yeah.
Go home, you sillies. Go home, you sillies.
Is that the first episode of that too?
I think it might be.
Because his pajamas are gay.
Oh, Jesus. I still can't.
Oh no! Wait. Jesus.
Have you accepted Jesus as your personal savior?
And then the last one is this one.
Leo! 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 God damn it! God damn it! God damn it! God damn it!
Yeah, that pajama scene is like I still hear I don't hear pajamas when you said it. It's hab jabs or something. But these hab jabs are gay. It's like what? What are you talking about, kid?
Oh, God damn it.
Leo.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Fucking Leo. So yeah, we'll be back to do Serial Experiments Lane, which I'm really excited about. I haven't watched it in probably 16 years. It's been a while.
Yeah, I must say it's probably been I watched it probably a bit sooner, and my only time I really watched it because I did start watching it, and then I got distracted with other things, and then I was like, yeah, that I better watch that. I want to see what that's all about. Um,
It's a good one.
yeah. So we kind of like edged ourselves off of bad anime because that's the whole reason why we came back to this one because
Yeah,
the Endless Eight saga, and now we understand what everyone complains about. It went on
I
too
think
long.
I think the thing for us is that what we realized, well, what like as you said, like the reason we started watching Haruhi was because of the Endless Eight.
Mhm.
But we decided that in order to do that, we really needed the context of the whole show to
Mhm.
do that. But in doing that, I realized that like there's also something to be talked about in the good stuff, and like I think occasionally we will like particularly revisit sort of like bad stuff because there's some good bad choice of bad stuff out
Yeah,
there.
like next week.
Yeah, like next week.
Yeah.
Um,
Pilot cleanser.
so like it probably like that's not going to go away forever. I think it's just that we want to broaden our horizons into just the stuff we enjoy talking about, and like hopefully there's something interesting in that. Like for me, uh, that movie is the most enjoyment I've had out of any of the things we've watched. And now this episode is nearly 2 hours long. Holy shit! It's such a long episode. We should have broken this into 3.
We can still do that.
No, it's too late.
It's too late.
It's too.
Too late now. You got time to edit
Yeah,
into
sorry.
3.
There's a 2 hour long episode. I think like what we've done is condensed a 3 hour movie into a tight 3.5 hour podcast.
No,
It's
it's
pretty
only a
good.
3 hour podcast. The last one was about an hour.
Was it only an hour?
Yeah, so we basically
I don't know, man.
talked about a 3 hour movie in 3 hours. Well,
Yeah,
that's about average for us because we were doing 2 episodes in an hour, which is actually extending the
True.
episodes by about 5 minutes each.
true. Hour 20.
What's it, an hour 20?
So-
Oh well, right.
We've an extra 40 minutes we've gone on.
Yeah, but it was this part was the more intense part of the movie.
Oh, for sure.
Anyway,
It was worth discussing. So yeah, we will be back next week with our palate cleanser, and then we'll be back a week after that to start Serial Experiments Lane. Really excited to be back into it. I think now that things have calmed down.
Mhm.
Really looking forward to it.
it'll be good, man. It'll be good. So yeah,
We do the usual closing bits.
we should probably do that. Yeah.
So yeah, we are a podcast, as you probably know because you're listening to us. You can
Or not.
find us at or not. If you're not listening to us, then I don't know how you're hearing this to know you're not listening to us. But you can find us at anchor.fm/who's that anime. We're also available on all good podcasting software. Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Pocket Cast, Overcast, everything. Spotify as well. We won't ask for 5-star reviews, but any reviews you're willing to give, good, bad, ugly, would be absolutely thrilled to have. We don't make any money from this. We just throw it away by renting movies that we then watch in a way we didn't need to pay for it in the first place. But if you really wanted to help us out, it would be super cool if you might tell your friends if they like anime, if they think they might be want to get involved in the conversation. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
We have a Facebook page. That's facebook.com/who's that anime. We post when episodes go up and some updates, and we post some anime memes every now and then. Colin likes to play games on twitch.tv/couchfuel.
Yep. You can see
Not
that.
streaming Biomutant.
No, not streaming anymore. That's the last thing I streamed.
But maybe streams in the future. And now that we're able to meet in person again, maybe God willing, we actually do a live stream again at some point. That might be
Yeah.
fun.
We can do that.
But if you want to see the archive is available on YouTube. You just search for Couch Fuel. I sometimes play horror games on twitch.tv/HailPayman. And you can find the archive of those videos on my YouTube as well. That's just Hail Payment in the search.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Yeah. Yeah, so after that this has been Who's That Anime with your stars Steve and Colin. That's me.
And me.
And Steve. Yeah. And we'll catch you next week with our awesome episode of Chariot. Chara. Right.
Chara.
Chara. Bye.
Chara.
Chara.
Okay, bye. Okay, I'm going to stop this now.